Hey, folks, we're going to be kicking off the show in about 30 seconds.
How about that?
Live from the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Todd Allbaugh with the outstanding Mr. Aaron Zommers, our producer and engineer on the board. It is 6 past the hour of 12 noon on this Thursday, January 23rd, 2025. It is a great day to be Wisconsinite. Glad to have you along. Sun is out here in downtown Madison, a block away from the Capitol Square on State Street. Mr. Zommers, the snow has largely moved out of Wisconsin. Some slickery roads, though, this morning as people commuted. But now they're saying temperature is kind of seasonal, maybe even a little above normal the next few days. So not bad at all.
Not bad at all. I mean, the sun may be out. I still do not recommend having your guns out, but at least you won't get frostbite in 2 minutes today.
And don't frostbite your guns. You understand? You don't want that. Well, it was an interesting night last night, joined by Pat Kreitlow of Up North News Radio, Dan Schaefer, our political editor, our Northwest Bureau Chief for CBS Media News, James Kelly.
Civic Media News.
What did I say?
You said CBS Media News.
Did I really? Wouldn't that be fantastic? We would combine the two.
You just promoted.
Right, yeah, exactly. But thank you for that. And then our Northeast Civic Media News Bureau Chief, Lisa Hale. And, of course, you and Luke Mathers and Chris Casper and a cadre of thousands brought you last night's Governor Evers' State of the State address, his seventh one since taking the governorship, and then the Republican response by Robin Vos. We're going to get into that, break it down a little bit for you, and try to find out, are there some opportunities here for working together, for getting stuff done to clean it up for radio? Because I think that's what most Wisconsinites want from our local and our state elected officials. Just get something done. Help the state of Wisconsin. So we're going to go through that. A couple of poignant moments. We're going to play you the clips from Governor Evers last night. Also, what's worse in our number 2 subject, peanut butter. Heard Jane Matnair, our great colleague and friend, and Greg Bach on Matnair on Air, which comes on 10 until noon every day right before us. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. The promotion there for the bit. They had a couple of feelings on it. We'll compare their feelings to ours and yours in hour number 2. What's worse? Peanut butter, the subject today for calling in. Let us know what you think on that. Also, want to get to today, haven't had a chance to play it, the Capitol Police Chief, U.S. Capitol Police Chief, sat down with CBS's Norah O'Donnell this week, talked about what it means, the pardons, the 1,500 pardons to Capitol police officers. Great interview. By the way, Norah O'Donnell, it's her last night tonight on the CBS Evening News. Tomorrow night was supposed to be her last night, but then as it turns out, the farmers, Franklin Farmers, State Farm, PGA, I'm not sure. It's a golf event. And Jim Nance says, no, I got to have the airwaves at 5 o'clock to say, and now to the 16th green. Very dramatic. Anyway, there's golf on CBS. So CBS said, look, Norah, you get cut a day short. So her final night in the anchor chair is tonight. And then on Monday, CBS Evening News launches back in New York because Norah and her husband live in D.C., so they moved the whole show to D.C. Now it's back in New York at the headquarters there. And it's John Dickerson and Maurice Dubois going to be the anchors starting on Monday night. So, but anyway, Norah sat down earlier this week with the the U.S. Capitol Police Chief. We're going to play a cut from that as well. And that pastor, that Episcopalian priest who told the truth right to President Trump's face in a pew talking about the incident. Not the incident, but her courage. So we're going to play that for you as well. I wanted to start out, though, today. We touched on this briefly. We had a caller call in yesterday during What's Worse. And he answered the question, then he asked me a question. I said, look, I'll answer it. Because really, I'm trying not to get too distracted by all the kerfluffles out there. It's like the shiny object that the cat, sees. Like, oh, geez, over here. And there's going to be a lot of that in the next 4 years. There's going to be a lot of words said, a lot of things said for dramatic effect. And I think it's easy to get distracted by that. And L.A. Tom put it so well yesterday on the show when Trigby was here, saying, look, pay attention to Social Security, Medicare, the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare, things like that, and then also follow the money. But kind of the kerfluffle out in Washington, D.C. got brought home late yesterday afternoon to the state of Wisconsin. And I want to spend a few minutes on this, maybe more than a few minutes, because I think it's important to talk about at several different levels. I'm going to cut to, I'm not going to bury the headline. I'm going to give you, and it's very selfish, well, at least somewhat selfish, why I am proud to work at Civic Media. And quite frankly, why I believe that our station, our network matters. We're owned by a singular person, Sage Weil, founder and owner of Civic Media. It's not a corporation. I mean, I guess legally it's whatever, but it's not a corporate thing that's owned some far off place. There's not a great big huge board of directors. It's Sage and his vision. I don't have a written contract with Civic Media. I have a handshake deal. My entire contract with Sage is this: tell the truth and do it with integrity. Period. That's it. That's good enough for me. It doesn't take long to get through that kind of a contract. Just tell the truth and do it with integrity. And that applies for everyone in this company. And that's, you can trust, you might not always agree with the opinion side of things, but when we bring you things last night, like the State of the State address, we brought you the full State of the State address and we brought you the full Republican response. And then you guys listeners can decide, based on the entirety of what you heard, what to believe and what not to. And we have opinion people like myself and others who will give you our opinions and takes. But the kerfluffle happened last night, or yesterday afternoon. Great reporters Daniel Bice and Mary Spacuzza at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel headline, CBS 58 weather reporter Sam Kuffel. I forgot that was her name when I said kerfluffle. Kuffle's in a kerfluffle. Sam Kuffel is out after criticizing Elon Musk gesture. Says a Milwaukee TV weather forecaster has been dropped by her station one day after she criticized Elon Musk on social media for his straight-arm gesture that many have likened to a Nazi salute. Staffers at WDJT-TV, better known as CBS 58 in Milwaukee, were alerted by email yesterday that meteorologist Sam Kuffel had left the station. Her biography and picture had been removed from Channel 58 website yesterday afternoon. Quote, in a staff memo, meteorologist Sam Kuffel is no longer employed at CBS 58. That's from a staff memo by news director Jesse Garcia that was obtained by the Journal-Sentinel. It says a search for a replacement is underway, unquote. CBS 58 owned by Weigel Broadcasting, W-E-I-G-E-L, Weigel. I'm going to say Weigel. Confirmed via email late Wednesday that Kuffel was no longer with CBS 58, but the spokeswoman said she could not comment further because this was a personal issue or a personnel issue. On Tuesday, conservative radio host in Milwaukee, Dan O'Donnell, sharply criticized Kuffel for her two Instagram posts, accusing her of, quote, spreading the lie that Elon Musk was giving a Nazi salute, unquote, during the presidential inauguration. He labeled her posts as vulgar. Kuffel 31 could not be reached for email, text, or phone on Wednesday. So, and I know that Jane and Greg and our friend Pat Kreitlow discussed this last hour. I know Kreitlow and Luke Mathers touched on this as well. And I get it for maybe a lot of our listeners across Wisconsin. This is kind of insider baseball stuff within media. But I want to take a minute and hopefully lay out why this matters to all of you, all of us, on a couple of different levels. First of all, if you have a major media market like Milwaukee and a major station like a CBS affiliate 58 who simply fires someone for exercising their constitutional right, that's a disturbing thing. Number two, and again, I didn't go into this deeply yesterday, is the whole Elon Musk wasn't a Nazi salute. A couple of things I found out, and when I read this yesterday, I was just infuriated. I think in checking with a couple of people, Jesse Garcia used to be at Channel 3 here in Madison. So I'm not going to name my sources, but from my sources, what I've been talking to people, it appears that CBS 58 has written contracts. Unlike mine with Sage, which is tell the truth and do it with integrity, they have a written contract, which is not unusual in media. And while I can't confirm this, it's reported through my sources that part of the contract in layman's terms says, if you sign this contract or you're an employee of CBS 58, you're not allowed to do political type of posts. Now, you can, and that includes your private independent media, social posts. And you can say, well, that's not fair. Maybe true. But if you sign it, either you or your attorney are responsible for knowing what's in there. And you can say, well, Elon Musk isn't a political figure. Technically, he's not an elected official. True. So I don't know all the legal beagle stuff in there, but I think it's important to, in the larger context of this discussion, was there a violation of a contract? What I have a problem with, if that's the case, then why Weigel Media and CBS 58, why don't they say that? Why don't they say Miss Kuffel was terminated for a legal violation of her contract? We're not going to go into it further. Well, then you can kind of read between the lines. My guess is they have, attorneys always muck everything up. Well, you can't say that. I've learned long ago from people smarter than me that the best solution to a problem is to hang a lantern on it. Be transparent. Because if you don't, then people talk like we're doing now. So I think that's an important part of this. Then there's the whole Elon part. And then there's the part about, can we really trust media in 2025? Your phone calls as well. Don't go anywhere. It's the Allbaugh Show. 855-752-4842 on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Real news and great conversation. 92.7 WMDX.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD.
You mean of just him?
Yeah, where he's saying from my heart to
eye injection or exam. Don't delay.
Not the full cut, but just his.
It's like 20 seconds
All
or
right,
less.
cool. Yeah, that's great. All right.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Verlo Mattress is more than just another mattress store. They're building better sleep for Dane County with handcrafted mattresses made to order right in Madison. And since they live there too, they make every dollar spent matter, actively partnering to benefit the community. You may even see Maddie the mattress mascot bouncing with joy around town. In this new year, get what you deserve. A mattress that supports your dreams. American made, locally crafted.
Are you ever questioning when life will slow down? Are you ever thinking of just relaxing and enjoying the simple things? All of this is possible, even while still being in the workforce.
Pursuing truth wherever it may lead and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. It is 21 now past the hour of 12 noon on Thursday, January 23rd, 2025. Glad to have you along. Going to get to your phone calls. Please be patient. As Matt Flynn likes to say, we see you on the lines. Do not hang up. 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. But I want to set this up and I want to get everything on the table, and then we'll have a discussion about it. All right? So just bear with me a minute. Talking about this piece in yesterday's Milwaukee Journal Sentinel online, jsonline.com, by Daniel Bice and Mary Spacuzza, that CBS 58 television station in Milwaukee yesterday fired Sam Kuffel, the very popular meteorologist, because she posted on her private Instagram page criticism, and we'll tell you what she said. We'll clean it up for radio, about Elon Musk. And there's been a discussion about this. I said, look, I don't have a written contract with Civic Media. Sage Wild, the owner and CEO of this company, and I have a handshake. Tell the truth and do it with integrity, period. All right? But there are sources are saying that this individual, and it's not unique to her, the employees at CBS 58 have a contract, a written legal contract, in which you're not allowed to do these sorts of things, even on your personal social media platforms. What do you think? So here's what happened at the inauguration. Elon Musk was talking at the dais during the quote-unquote parade, which was really just like a pep rally. And I want to play you, you're not going to be able to see it, obviously, on radio, but I want to play you what he said so that we're all clear with what he said. Here is the incident in dispute, Sommers. Let's go.
And I just want to say thank you for making it happen. Thank you. My heart goes out to you.
So
it is thanks to you that the future of civilization is assured.
So what he says at the first part, thank you, and then he does, you kind of heard the slap. He goes, all right, and he puts his right hand over his heart. I'm not going to do it, but he extends his right hand up into the air, exactly like a Nazi salute.
Very aggressively, too.
Right.
Like, you hear not only the slap, but then it goes like, as
right.
he shoots
Puts
his arm out.
Right. And then he comes back after that. That's why I wanted to play the full cut. And it seemingly to kind of cover his tracks, my heart goes out to you. So that's the explanation, if you will. That no, it wasn't a Nazi salute. It was, my heart goes out to you, which he said after he did the seemingly Nazi salute. Now, look, as I said yesterday, I might be willing to give the guy a little bit of the benefit of the doubt if he had not already, in the upcoming German elections, endorsed tantamount to the Nazi party. It's the remnants, the new quote-unquote Nazi party, the extreme right nationalist party in Germany that has some of the same Nazi agenda. And also, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And also, I learned long ago that when doing social media or anything, if you have to stop and think about it for a minute, should you really post it or say it? That's not to say that I haven't violated that myself. So that's the incident in question. So Sam Cuffle on her Instagram post posted a picture of Musk, and she said, "I got to clean this up for radio." Quote, dude, Nazi saluted twice during the inauguration. You F with this and this man, I don't F with you. Full stop. And then puts a GIF up there. It's a GIF, right? Or a GIF? I don't know, GIF. It's a picture. It's a picture. Screw that old B word. He's a Nazi. So again, the language in the personal post by Miss Cuffle, not exactly, kosher. But it was what she felt. And I think there's a lot of people feeling anger and anxiety right now. I don't fault Cuffle for speaking out against what's clearly, in my view, at least a tribute to a Nazi salute. But I don't know. I mean, somebody should say whether she had a contract that prohibited her from doing this legally or not. And B, it's disturbing to me that in this day and age, less than 4 days, full days into the Trump administration, that you have a right-wing conservative host, Dan O'Donnell. He's on ISN, right? Down there, the conservative talk station in Milwaukee. He's making this huge deal, and immediately CBS 58 folds the tent. I have to wonder if O'Donnell hadn't made such a big deal about this on his radio show and nobody said anything, would CBS still have fired her even if she was in violation technically of a written contract? And also, it was Jay Weber, right? The other goofball conservative radio host down there that made fun over during the Democratic convention in Chicago when Tim Walz, when one of his son has autism and he was seen crying because he was so overcome with emotion and happiness for his dad that Jay Weber went after him and said some horrible, terrible things about this kid. And he was suspended for like 2 weeks and then he was back on the air. What's disturbing in this day and age is that a television station, we don't know if there's a contract or not. It's even more disturbing, quite frankly, if there's not a contract, if there's not a written contract. Then it's really egregious. And is the Donald Trump machine of fear influencing already the way that even Wisconsin state media reports the news? Here's another one. Allen Media, who owns many of the ABC television affiliates here in Madison, La Crosse, Wausau, Eau Claire, has reportedly laid off now all of their local meteorologists. And they're going to get their meteorology from Atlanta from the Weather Channel. So how does that work when there's a tornado outside of Eau Claire? And they're going to go to, down to Atlanta. Stay on the line. It's going to take your phone calls after this. It's the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
News and great conversation. 92.7
Would springtime for Hitler be too much right now?
Local radio for you and
I would love to play it, but probably.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So
I actually thought about it. But I think it kind of cheapens the moment.
2024 was good to the cheese industry as a whole, especially
if we were just
in the
talking about
export
Musk,
market.
yes.
I'm Ben
Right.
Jarbo with the Midwest Farm Report.
But this is actually
and Katie
serious.
Burgess,
So-
the Director of Risk Management with Everag, is here to explain how new tariffs could affect this cheese market in regards with exports to Mexico.
If it is a big blanket tariff and Mexico does a big blanket tariff back on the U.S., in 2024, cheese exports hit a new record high. And a lot of that was thanks to increased sales to Mexico. From a market share perspective, Mexico accounted for nearly 40% of cheese exports. And so it was a big deal. 2024 is going to go down as a new all-time high cheese export year. So good to see. That was part of what got higher prices for dairy producers in the second half of last year. And so if we lose a chunk of those exports, that could definitely be a problem for the market, especially with the new cheese we're going to make this year.
Burgess says that with the Class 3 markets on a bit of a roller coaster recently, the markets are going to be in a bit of a limbo for the foreseeable future. From the Midwest Farm Report, I'm Ben Jarbo, and we'll take a look at those midday markets right after this.
Giving back. It's at the heart of the Wisconsin farmer, and it starts with supporting the backbones of our community. That's why the Wisconsin Soybean Marketing Board invests in soy foam for our firefighters. Soy foam TF 1122 is the first and only firefighting foam green screen certified at the gold level. As a PFAS-free firefighting foam, it's safe for you and the environment. A safe future for your community. Thanks to your soy checkoff. Learn more at wisoybean.org.
Come on along. We're headed to the Canadian Rockies. I'm Pam Yankee, inviting you to join me July 26th.
We can't play it due to language, but L.A. Tom sent a video that he took. There was just some guy in the middle of the street who started a fire on the ground, and then Tom took the video just to make sure it was documented and go up. And I was like, "What are you doing, dude? What's going on?" He's like, "Oh, just F off, and I'm cold."
Wow.
And it's like, well, there's a homeless shelter down the street if that's what's going on. But
yeah. LA Tom, Mark, Rick, stay tuned. We're going to get to you here within the next 2 minutes after we come back.
The roller coaster seems to continue as cash corn is up 7 3/4 at $4.92, and December corn is up 3 1/2 at $4.63. March soybeans are up 10 1/2 at $10.66.
Jeff Perry, part of your comment is cut off, but we can still get the whole point of it.
Wheat is up 1 1/2.
Yeah, Jeff, it cuts off after downright blank.
Class 3 is seeing gains again today as February contracts are up 26 cents at $19.23 a hundredweight, and Class 3 milk contracts for March are up 13 cents at $19.14 a hundredweight. For the Midwest Farm Report, I'm Ben Jarbo.
Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
We are going to put a little pause into that warm-up that started yesterday. Mostly sunny today. We'll get to about 16 for a high this afternoon. The wind northwest at 5 to 15 will keep that wind chill hovering around 0 most of the day. Tonight, 1 below. Tomorrow, increasing clouds 21. We're back to 34 by Saturday. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Outside right now, it's 12.
Okay, he added it.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Hey, everybody, Dane County Humane Society reminds you, hey, bang on the hood of your vehicle before starting your engine this winter. It's that simple. You can save a cat's life. With frigid temperatures and little shelter, some cats are going to try to find a way to keep safe and warm, including, guess where? Under car hoods and in the wheel well of your vehicle. So before climbing into your vehicle and starting the engine, bang on the hood and give cats an opportunity to flee. To learn more, visit giveshelter.org.
Matt Nair on air.
Stephen Aronson from Wisconsin Knitwear, based in Milwaukee. Knithats.com. Our own Beyond the Cheese hats.
There you go.
That
in the
is,
green and gold.
That is so awesome.
Very, very kind of you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. I was so excited you called. And
you are
within the day.
We will be giving some of these away.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the next couple of weeks.
Matt Nair on air.
Having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. Glad to have you along. 34 past the hour of 12 noon on a Thursday, January 23rd, 2025. We'll have some fun, more fun in hour number 2. What's worse? Has to do with peanut butter, Mr. Zomers. Peanut butter.
As a peanut butter lover,
yeah,
I look forward to hearing people's opinions.
Very good. But right now, more serious news. Again, I didn't want to get into this whole Elon Musk Nazi salute thing because it's again, I guess, distraction over some bigger things. But it's come home now to Wisconsin because in this story in the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel yesterday by Dan Bice and Mary Spacuzza, the local CBS affiliate, CBS 58, fired popular weather forecaster and meteorologist Sam Kuffel yesterday after she posted on her personal Instagram page criticism, although she dropped a couple of F-bombs in it, criticism of Elon Musk, who many people like myself would call it a Nazi salute. And by the way, it's important to remember of all this criticism of what Musk did that he has reportedly declined to say it wasn't an intentional Nazi salute. So if it wasn't, wouldn't you just say, look, this is disgusting. I repudiate Nazism. It's terrible. If someone took it that way, I'm embarrassed. But absolutely, that's not what it is.
But he can't say that because he supported the modern equivalent of the Nazi Party in Germany. And if he speaks out against them, it will not look good for his base.
Correct. As Ed McMahon once said, you are correct, sir. So there's that. Going to get to the phone calls here in just a minute. I want to put, and so what I said before the break, and I think this is important, that I here at Civic Media, Zommers, you don't have a written contract, right?
I do not.
So we serve at the pleasure. We can be fired any time for any reason. You wake up one day and there's music playing at noon. Or I don't know what's going to happen. I have a handshake deal with our owner CEO. Tell the truth and do it with integrity. But it's not unusual in bigger companies in media to have a written contract. And they have the prerogative to put anything in there they want. My sources are telling me that's the case at CBS 58. I have not been able to confirm that. I want to be clear. But the quick story is, I could say it was an anecdote. One time, my former coworker, TJ at the Capitol, I'd say, so here's a funny anecdote.
Oh, yeah.
and he let me say it for like a couple of days. And finally, just quietly with his head down at his desk, he said in a low growl, it is not antidote. It is antidote.
Or anecdote.
Anecdote. That's why I say here's a story. So an anecdote or a story. So when back in a prior life, when I used to run a sports pub, the Tilted Kilt here in Madison, that's a whole other bottle of wine. We had a policy. Front of house, back of house, no call, no show, one strike and you're out. Which means if you don't call in and tell us you're going to be late or you can't make it, and you don't show up for your shift, and unless there is a tragedy, such as a car accident or a immediate family member suddenly dying, you're gone. So I had hired a family friend, a young guy, really great guy named Mike, was a great bartender. And one Saturday, he was a no-call, no-show. And he was honest and said, I just spaced. And I said, Mike, look, people know that, we hired you for your qualifications, but people know that our families have a connection. If I treat you differently, I lose the trust of the restaurant. He goes, no, I get it. And I had to let him go. 3 months later, we had a bar opening. My bar manager, Lily, came to me and said, I want to bring Mike back. I said, well, we follow the policies. If you want him back, you poll all the other bartenders and make it clear this is your idea. She did. Everybody was in support of it, and we brought him back. But we followed the rules. And again, my sources are telling me that's what happened at CBS 58 Milwaukee, that there was a rule that you couldn't do this. Now, again, what Musk did is atrocious, and it should be called out. But the question is, what does it say about local media in Wisconsin if they're that sensitive? If it's a contract issue, a legal issue, that's one thing. But if they're that sensitive to criticism of appearing to be a Nazi salute, then what are they telling their news department that they can and can't report if it's critical of the Trump agenda in Wisconsin? 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. L.A. Tom's been very patient. L.A., thanks for calling in. What say you? L.A. Tom, are you there?
Oh, I am so sorry.
No, I'm sorry for keeping you on hold for so long, but I wanted to set the table and get everything out there, but go ahead.
Honestly, on this one, I I don't know, because you're working for corporate America, and I have a problem that a billionaire can actually, kind of control what's going on in your workplace. So I do have a problem with that. At the same time, I always say rejection is the creator's protection. So maybe she'll find something better. I don't know. Can I talk about my other topic real quick, Todd?
Hey, I just saw that on the notes that Zalmer put up there. Do you mind just hanging around? I'm going to get to that, but I want to finish this topic first.
That's what. Yeah,
all right.
that's what.
Sorry about that.
Fine.
Yep, we'll bring it back, Tom. 855-752-4842 if you want to dial in and weigh in on this firing by CBS 58 of their meteorologist who was critical of Elon Musk. Let's go to Mark in Prairie du Sac. Mark, thanks for holding. What say you?
Yeah, when you can't criticize Nazism, I don't know what the heck's going on. Regardless of whether she had a contract or not, I mean, it is just that. Because looking at Elon Musk in context, I mean, because yes, he has supported this neo-Nazi, neo-fascist group in Germany. I mean, I saw another video clip of him doing that, and then whipping around and turning behind him, and doing the same kind of gesture, a heart. Hand over the heart, then snapping a salute behind him, and spinning around again. I remember hearing about Nazism back when I was in 5th grade. A teacher would probably get fired about that today because she talked about the death camps. I mean, that the context of Nazism in this country, when you cannot call out Nazism and even a Nazi adjacentism, I mean, even in strong language, that's a complete, freedom of speech is supposed to mean something, and that, yes, maybe there's something in the contract, and maybe a suspension would have been in order, but to fire her over something like that we fought a war against Nazism as America and the rest of the free world did, and to let that go, to let go of the deaths that Nazism and fascism has caused, to just ignore that fact because Elon Musk, it's my understanding, his grandparents were Nazis in Canada. And that his father left and went to South Africa because he didn't quite like, that it was too liberal for him in Canada, and went to the loving arms of apartheid in South Africa, and that's what he was suckled on.
Yeah. Mark, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the call. 855-752-4842. Let's go to Rick, listening on WAUK Milwaukee. Rick is in Waukesha. Rick, thanks for calling. Let's see.
Hey, I just wanted to make a comment, a kind of an educational thing. Did you ever hear the term rhubarb was used in show business and stage?
I don't think so. Go ahead.
History? Well, what it is when they plant something, a rhubarb has a stem and it's a plant, and what it does is it creates a lot of noise. And it's kind of like tag team, in wrestling, where two people interrupt other people, and then
what's the point? I get that part of it. I just got to get up to other callers. What's the point? Thank you.
I think that's what this is. This is a con game, and it's making people spend all kinds of time on something intentionally.
Okay, I appreciate the call, Rick. Thank you so much. 855-752-4842. Let's go to Jim, listening on WAUK in Brookfield, Wisconsin. Jim, what say you?
I say what Elon Musk did definitely was a Nazi salute. And he did it twice. And anybody who says otherwise is just burying their head in the sand and being unrealistic. And Todd, you yourself are being nice in a parent Nazi salute. It was a Nazi salute, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Yes, we do need to look or know more details about the contract of the meteorologist with 58. Could a suspension been in, proper? Who knows? But the overall big picture item is this does not fare well for the media in Wisconsin, Milwaukee media or the state of Wisconsin, for over the next 4 years, where they have to bend the knee and kiss the ring of the Donald Trump mega world. One loud mouthpiece, in WISN or whatever the channel was, makes squawks about it, and this woman loses her job. Very unfortunate. It does not bode well. Everybody listening for the next 4 years. So buckle up and be aware of people that will kiss the ring.
Appreciate the call, Jim. Thank you so much for listening. 855-752-4842. Let's go to Tom listening on WMDX here in beautiful McFarland. Tom, thanks for calling. We'll see you.
I guess I'm going to be kind of contrarian today.
All right, give it to us.
As being a Nazi salute, it definitely was a Nazi salute. But I guess more to the point, you asked earlier, what about their newsroom? I think that there's a huge difference within this situation because she was terminated because she used her personal page as opposed to part of her job. Now, if the newsroom was reporting that this is a Nazi salute as part of the news doing their job and they got terminated because of that, that would be very, very different. That would certainly be a uncalled for. But because she was doing this on her personal and not as part of her job, and without knowing what her contract specifics are, and if she was violating that contract, I don't think she has a leg to stand on within that.
You don't think? Oh, you cut out. You don't think what?
Yep. I don't think she has a leg to stand on. If she did this violating her contract and not part of her job,
right?
Then yeah, it's unfortunate, and I'm not sure why a contract that thou shalt not question Nazis.
I don't think it's that. It's not specific to that. I mean, I don't think, like I say, but it's not unusual in the media world to say that in agreeing to employment with company X, Y, and Z, that you agree not to post anything that would be contrary to the company's rules. And then you have we have a handbook here at Civic Media. Even though I have a Todd Allbaugh show Twitter, and I have my own at Todd Allbaugh. I wouldn't post something on my personal Twitter or Instagram page that would directly reflect poorly on Civic Media, or I know that I can be terminated. Now, I also know that my owner at Civic Media, Sage Weil, is not going to terminate me for calling out Nazism. So, I mean, there's that. You raised some really good points, Tom. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Wisco Paul. Wisco, about a minute and a half left. It's all yours. What say you?
Well, thanks for taking my call, Todd. Yeah, it was definitely a Nazi salute. I guess if she violated her contract, she probably doesn't have a leg to stand on, but it was a Nazi salute. Mainstream media has pretty much dropped the ball on Trump anywhere, at any rate. And
Are you there, Wisco? Wisco,
I think it cut out.
Wisco has gone into a tunnel.
Right, something like that.
Wisco, if you get a chance, give us a call back. We'd love to hear from you. Off the text line, you can text us at the Civic Media app. Let's see here. We have Carolyn listening on AUK in beautiful Heartland. Carolyn says, another thing about CBS 58, one of their main male anchors got arrested for an OWI and was suspended on air, is now back on air. Different rules for male and female? Grr. I like the grr at the end. I think that's a legit comment. And again, I want to make clear, I cannot prove beyond, I don't have a contract in front of me. Simply what my sources are telling me is that CBS 58 has contracts with all of their anchors. And that this was a violation of contract, not specifically over calling out a Nazi salute, but rather doing something that was deemed in the eyes of the company as a political or taking a stance. Doesn't make it any more right. I'm just saying that's one of the things that we don't know. Say what you want about Dom Rumsfeld. One of the great quotes, there are things that we know, there are things that we don't know, and there are things that we don't know we don't know. Back with more after this is the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Real news and great conversation. 92.7 WMDX.
Looking to turn your valuables into cash this Valentine's Day? Gordy's Midwest Fine Jewelry and Coins is here for you since 1985. Look for the big green awning on the corner of 4701 Monona Drive. Gordy buys your coins, gold, silver, watches, stamps, silver dollars, and paper currency. They buy, sell, trade, and repair, offering top dollar in paying cash for gold. Stop by today and experience the difference. Gordy's Midwest Fine Jewelry and Coins. Call 608-221-4242.
I'm hungry. What's cooking?
Oh, no, not me. It's your turn.
Oh, we're back to taking turns?
Yes.
Well, how about Sugar River Pizza?
Oh, yeah, now they can cook.
I could really go for some of that 12-hour smoked pulled pork.
Ooh, and some pasta. Okay, now I'm hungry. Sugar River, here we come.
And they have that great kids menu, too.
We don't have any kids.
Right. That's beside the point. Point is, I'm hungry.
Len and Madison
Let's
brought
go.
jokes. We appreciate
We
it,
should
Len.
talk about having
He
some
says
kids.
today's what's worse should be an ambulance or a hearse. Depends on who's in it. That's
Dan
pretty good,
Schaefer.
Len.
Let's recombobulate.
That's pretty good. I like that.
On Monday, January 20th, Donald Trump returned to office, sworn in as the 47th President of the United States. Right out of the gate, he took a number of actions on his top issue, immigration. Perhaps the most troubling of these is one aiming to end birthright citizenship in America. An immigration attorney I talked to told me, "We're going to sit through a lot of BS over the course of the next weeks, months, and years, but this is the big one." My take: this action from the Trump administration is despicable, unconstitutional, and fundamentally anti-American. The day after the order was issued, Governor Tony Evers and attorney
Pursuing truth wherever it may lead and having fun doing it. It's the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. 9 before the hour of 1 o'clock. And hour number 2. Fun little what's worse today on peanut butter. I like saying that. Well, I don't know why. I've never said it that way before. But peanut butter is our what's worse. Right now, talking about a more serious issue. I want to wrap this up. Story in Milwaukee Journal Sentinel yesterday on CBS 58 in Milwaukee, firing meteorologist Sam Kuffel because she criticized Elon Musk's Nazi salute on Election Day with some harsh language. And what we don't know, and I wish CBS 58 would just say, was this a contract violation? Did she have a contract? But it's also disturbing as someone in the media to think that a major company, an affiliate of CBS, would fire someone who seemed to be very good at her job and popular because a right-wing talk show host in Milwaukee attacked her and called her out. And is this the influence of Trumpism in the media in 2025? I want to get to a couple of the texts. You can text us on the text line. Let's see here. Andrew in Maine on WAUK says, until the CBS station comes out and says unequivocally that Ms. Kuffel violated station rules that prohibit staff from speaking their mind, then I'm left to assume they fired her because Musk told them to. I agree. I don't think that Musk told them to, but I think that the influence, I basically agree with what you said there, Andrew. Jim in Appleton, WISS in Oshkosh says, the thing that makes this so egregious to me isn't this coming from the free speech crowd? You're right. You're right. Yeah, absolutely. Free speech until we're the ones being criticized. And now there was by the way, there was a story out this morning. Let me see if I can find this quickly for you. Just days after Donald Trump returned to the White House, Instagram is censoring abortion content. And it's a picture here on this. This is, go to the Aid Access USA's account. Aid Access USA's account looks like this is what it looks like right now. Posts about how to get abortion medication have been blurred out. And there's a screenshot of their Insta account. And things let's see here. It says all 50 states, all pregnant people up to 13 weeks, no discrimination, we provide. That's good. Have a holly jolly Christmas. That's good. But then there are squares blurred out where it actually helps to direct women in how to get medication on Instagram. So this, as Joe Biden says, we're not joking around. I mean, this is real. And this is disturbing. That and where we get our information and media from matters. It matters. And again, you're not always going to agree with me. I get that. And you shouldn't. You're not always going to agree with other hosts on this network. But just know that the overarching edict that we get from our owner is to tell the truth and do it with integrity. Tyler, listening on WFHR in Wisconsin Rapids, says, are you familiar with the uncontrollable salute by Dr. Strangelove in the Stanley Kubrick movie played by Peter Sellers? He could not help it. Well, I guess.
Yeah, great movie and great scene.
Again,
However,
it's a movie.
I did not, in the movie, there's a German doctor who is on the side of the Allies, and in it, his arm, when he gets excited, his arm just springs up into a Nazi salute, and he fights to pull it back down. I did not see Elon fighting to pull his arm back down.
And it's the same thing. The Producers is a great musical, and it makes fun of Nazism. I think it's two different things there. Patrick in the 608 on WMDX, the right wing is constantly treated with a double standard. Very few media owners fire their employees, even when they are obviously fanning the flames of political violence. Thank you for that. Appreciate that text. Jim in Appleton. Oh, I'm sorry. We already read that one here. I think we're caught up on the text line there. Let's go quickly to Ann in Chippewa Falls, listening on WCFW, the Tap. Ann, about a minute left. What's the...
Freedom of speech only seems to go one way lately. And if anybody talks against Trump or the rich people that are running the country, they're going to take things in their own hands. And we should all be concerned about this. Thank God for civic media. But seriously, this is going to be a big issue. I just wanted to
appreciate the call.
chime in on everything.
Yeah, really appreciate it, Ann. Thank you so much for calling in. Let's try to get Wisco in very quickly. Wisco Paul, you're on the air, Wisco. Thanks for calling in. What do you have?
We'll try it again here. That was a Nazi salute. Very concerning. Elon Musk is going to weigh in on the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. And I also listen to civic media because you guys try to tell the truth. Well, you do tell the truth. You're fair and balanced and
appreciate
for
that.
real. So,
Yeah. And look, if on the occasion that we get something wrong, and I have before, I come back on the air and correct it and say, here's what I found out. I think that's the test, right? I don't think that I'm always right. I strive to be. I try to always bring you the facts. But on the rare occasion we mess up, we tell you. I'm not ashamed to do that. I'm human, as it turns out, as we all are. Let's go quickly to Jeff Perry, our ongoing contributor on Facebook, if we can there, Mr. Zommers. Jeff, of course, who's been in media like myself, said, quote, this comment is in no way meant to defend CBS 58 or, God help me, Elon Musk. However, many high-profile figures have been fired from media or entertainment positions because the actions or things they have said violated the values of their employer. Think Roseanne and the Connors, the TV show, for a high-profile example. In my opinion, the firing of the weather person falls into this category. It says a lot about CBS 58 as an organization. It also says a lot about how some media outlets are downright frightened of what the Trump administration may try to do to them if they are seen as a critic of their policies. Appreciate the contribution there, Mr. Perry. All right, stay tuned. We're going to come back. L.A. Tom, we hope he's still there. He's going to come back. We're going to get his comments and talk a little bit about Governor Evers' address last night and peanut butter. What's worse? Don't go anywhere. Hour number 2 is straight ahead. It's the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Real news and great conversation. 92.7 WMDX. Pete Schwaba.
On the next Nightlight, it's our
that
popcorn pick of the
was a
week
good
with our
discussion.
friend Greg Vadney from the Roar
Hope
Museum
everybody
in
enjoyed.
Manitowoc.
Not enjoyed, but I hope it was.
Filmmaker
I hope it was
Kate Stapleton
valuable to
joins
have
me
a
to talk about
discussion.
her film, which premieres at the Door County Film Festival.
Nightlight with Pete Schwaba.
Dave in New
Nights from
Berlin
6
says,
till
is
8.
peanut butter one word or two?
Are you prepared for an
or
emergency
three
or disaster?
peanut
Because it's
butter?
not a matter of if, but when.
I think as long as it's tasty, I don't care.
When the storm rolls in,
I definitely
my time to
have
find a pet-friendly
occasionally,
evacuation center will have run out.
maybe intentionally, who's to say,
scorching heat wave
said
will leave
pea
me
butt nutter
powerless to cool my
instead.
insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds.
And yes, Tom is still
Now,
here.
It's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/overdose.
All right, very good, Tom. I apologize, but I kind of wanted to get through that. I didn't want to have two different subjects going back and forth at the same time. So thank you for your patience.
Also, Elon Musk has chimed in on the Wisconsin Supreme Court race.
Yes, I saw that earlier.
Instagram.
Thank you.
This is 92.7
Make sure to vote Republican
WMDX
in a
Columbus,
nonpartisan race.
Madison's
Thank you,
home
Elon.
For real news and great conversation. A civic media station.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The first hearing over President Trump's directive to end birthright citizenship, ending with the judge in Seattle ruling to block it, saying it's unconstitutional.
It's separate from a larger group of states also suing. In Massachusetts, the Trump administration is defending the executive order, saying a temporary restraining order against it is not needed.
We're not
going to
go back to
take
that
effect until
other
later next month,
shorter
and babies
salute on
impacted have
Musk.
not yet
So
been
can-
born.
I figured we probably
the
would.
administration is arguing that certain wording in the
Probably get to
Constitution
the
gives the
bishop again.
president some wiggle room in the 14th Amendment.
And try to get the
Alex
Capitol
Stone,
Police.
ABC News.
President Trump virtually addressed the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, telling top global leaders that the U.S. is open for business.
Somebody said that's
but
in
also warned that
Germany.
the U.S. will impose
Oh
steep
my
tariffs on
God.
countries who choose
That's
not to do
ridiculous.
business in the U.S. The president also signaled he would like to hold a meeting with Russia's President Putin soon to start talks to end the war in Ukraine, and bitter cold keeping its grip in the South. This is ABC News.
Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. Reading reform is on the way for Wisconsin kids, at least it was supposed to be. Last night, in his State of the State address, Governor Tony Evers urged the legislature to release the money that's ready and waiting to overhaul how we teach kids to read in Wisconsin. 58% of the state's 3rd through 8th graders are not proficient in English language arts. That's according to forward exam results from 2023. That same year, lawmakers passed a bill with bipartisan support that would totally change how teachers teach kids to read. The new system is commonly referred to as the science of reading. It's backed by research and focuses more on phonics. It includes new curriculum and materials and hiring literacy coaches for school districts to use when they need to. When it was passed, Act 20 included $50 million to switch to this new method, but lawmakers on the Joint Finance Committee have not released that money.
These funds were already approved. They are available now, and they should not still be sitting in Madison.
If the $50 million for the new reading materials
Lisa
isn't released by
Murkowski
June
says she's
30th,
a
it'll
no
go into the
on
state
Pete
surplus,
Hegseth.
which is already massive at $4 billion.
Everyone
and in
should be.
an update to an
Everyone
odd
should be,
story
but
we
not
reported
everybody
earlier in the week, a man has officially been charged for setting fire to his local congressman's office, angry about the TikTok ban. Lisa Hale has more.
The man who's accused of setting fire to U.S. Congressman Glenn Grothman's Fond du Lac office appeared in court Wednesday, where he was charged with arson, attempted burglary, criminal damage to property, and terrorist threats. 19-year-old Caden Stachowitz of Menasha told police that he started the fire in response to the TikTok ban, which Grothman voted in favor of. Stachowitz is being held on a $500,000 cash bond. He will be back in court on January 30th for his preliminary hearing.
I'm Savannah
Reportedly, when
Tomei
they
Olson.
told
You're
Congressman
listening to
Grothman about the fire, his
92.7
first reaction was,
WMDX News.
did they catch the guy?
It's the Bucks and
Not-
the Heat.
not-
Hi,
it's
I'm
my
Mike
staff,
Cummings with
okay.
Sports. The
Did they
Milwaukee
catch the guy?
Bucks flew back today
No, that's-
after getting
that's not
snowed
true,
out
by
in
the
New
way.
Orleans last night.
But
Their game
knowing
against the
Glenn,
Pelicans
it would
to be
not surprise me.
rescheduled.
It
Tonight,
would
they're
act-
home
if
against
I had
the
to
Miami
guess,
Heat.
that would have been
The
his
Bucks
first
have 13
reaction. Did
games
they
left
catch the
before
guy?
the All-Star break, 9 of them on the road. At 24-17, can they hold on to that 4th place spot in the East? Damian Lillard.
We got to be there mentally. We got to be engaged. We got to be disciplined, and we got to be together.
NFL former Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson held his first press conference as the new head coach of the Chicago Bears.
I've got tremendous amount of respect for the coaches and the players in this league. Having competed against them for the last 6 years. Dan Campbell, Kevin O'Connell, you're talking about 2 guys that are up for Coach of the Year awards as the season ends here. And to be quite frank with you, I kind of enjoyed beating Matt LaFleur twice a year.
What a
The Bears'
jerk.
Ben Johnson with
The
Sports on
Bears
Mike
still
Clemens.
suck, all right?
This is your local Civic Media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime.
Honestly, I think
Find
if they ever
all
want to
of it at
not suck, they're just going to have to
civicmedia.us.
throw the whole team out and start over.
We are going to put a
including
little
all the
pause into
management
that
and owners
warm-up
and
that started
everybody. Just give
yesterday.
up and
Mostly
start again
sunny
from
today.
scratch.
We get to about 16 for a high this afternoon. The
'Cause
wind
whatever they keep
northwest
trying to
5
do is
15
clearly
will keep
not
that
working.
Wind chill hovering around 0 most of the day. Tonight, 1
I'm
below.
okay with it.
Tomorrow,
Right, right.
increasing clouds 21. We're back to 34 by Saturday. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Current temperature 13.
The Maggie Dawn Show.
Pete Hegseth confirmation hearing.
I've never disparaged women serving in the military.
Except for, the podcast interview in late November of 2024 when he said women in combat weaken the military. Except for that, Pete, did you get body snatched? Are you not the same guy that sat down in the Brosphere podcast?
The Maggie Dawn Show. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the Civic Media app. The John and Gordy Show.
Talking with Mike McCabe, Substack blogger and author. You have an interesting article in Substack about AI.
Think about any decision, whether it's to push a button and launch a missile, or whether to hire or fire somebody in a workplace. We want the answers faster, and then we want to get to the next topic, and that's where there could be the death of wisdom.
Boy, absolutely.
Weekday mornings.
Live from the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Across Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Todd Allbaugh, along with Mr. Aaron Zommers, our fantastic producer and engineer. It is 6 past the hour of 1 o'clock. Welcome into hour number 2 of the big program on Thursday, January 23rd, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite. Hopefully you're able to get a little bit of that snow cleared. Up north, they got a few inches. Snow squalls up there in Douglas County and that sort of thing. So, but further south, I know maybe along Racine, Kenosha. Where did that come from? Some lake effect. And anyway, the roads were slickery, but, we live in Wisconsin, and I think everything is better, and temperatures are going to moderate a little bit for the weekend. Hopefully you can get out there and enjoy it. Of course, one more day left in the work week on Friday. Tomorrow, big show Friday. I know she's making the rounds, but we're honored to have her back. Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez is going to be here in hour 1 of the program, talking about Governor Evers' State of the State address last night that we were so proud to bring you, along with our colleagues Pat Kreitlow and James Kelly and Lisa Hale and the entire crew carried that, and the Republican response last night. Going to talk about that in just a minute here. But so Lieutenant Governor will be here. I believe Brady Ewing is going to be in as well, talking a little sports, 3-time Big Ten champion, spent 3 years in the NFL. And then Peter Rapine. Been a couple of weeks. Peter Rapine is back from EPOM's World.
Is he confirmed?
I believe so. I'm going to say he is. With a week in review, a wacky, real headlines from real people. And I know there's people out there, where the heck has Peter been the last couple of weeks? Well, he was going to be on last week. And then we had to have a shindig, and so we couldn't do it. The shindig took over.
The shindig took precedence.
Yeah.
It preempted.
A 6-hour shindig. As shindigs go, it was kind of long, but it was good. It was fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
8 minutes past the hour, 1 o'clock. So we're going to do what's worse in a minute, or in a couple of minutes, involving peanut butter. All right, so stand by for that. As Paul Harvey once said, stand by for news. The news was last night that Governor Evers had his State of the State address. It was his longest. Do you know this, Summers? His longest. He's done, this is his 7th one, his longest, because they did a word count. Scott Bauer over there, the terrific reporter at the Capitol for the Associated Press, Scott Bauer, God love him, he compiled a word count for all of Evers' State of the States, and last night's was the longest by over 1,000 words.
I was just about to ask by how much. Wow.
Yeah. So it was over an hour. And look, I thought there were some very good things in it. And I thought there were things. First of all, Governor Evers declared 2025 the year of the kid. The year of the kid.
That was the free space on the bingo card. Year of X.
Right. Now, I don't see how you cannot be in favor of kids.
Yeah,
but Speaker Robin Vos didn't clap.
that was something that really struck me watching it. Like the way everything has become so partisan. The Republicans sitting there pretending like they're falling asleep.
Right.
When Evers says things like, no kid should go hungry and everybody should be able to learn and do well in school so we can have better outcomes and better lives for children.
Yeah.
That's not a policy. That's just a value statement. And if you don't agree with that value, what's wrong with you?
It seems odd. And we're going to get to a couple more of these things. I mean, he also talked about Governor Evers, made it very clear that he said, look, we support, including myself, traditions like hunting and trapping and fishing in Wisconsin. And those things should continue. But, and now I'm paraphrasing, basically saying, but everyone should be able to agree about basic things like background checks and firearms, red flag laws, which is where if someone is having a mental health crisis, that law enforcement takes away their firearms until they can be deemed safe to themselves and others.
Including voluntarily, you can surrender your own.
Right. Say, look, I'm not doing well. And also, don't forget, Wisconsin used to have a 48-hour waiting period on firearms, and Governor Evers proposed to reintroduce that. Now, I still hunt occasionally for birds, for turkey and pheasant, was a gun deer hunter for a long time. I don't know any legit hunter worth their salt, sportsman, sportswoman, sportsperson, who would say, well, none of that affects me hunting. If I haven't done anything wrong, my background check's going to come clean. If I'm not having a mental health crisis and, threatening my spouse or my partner, I'm fine. And I don't know any hunter that's like, oh my gosh, I'm going hunting tomorrow. I got to get a gun. I mean, that's not the way it works. Most sports people, most sportsmen are very particular about their firearms. They're very proud of it. They might go look for a while. They might, shoot it, if the dealer allows that before they purchase it. It's an intentional purpose if it's for the right purpose.
Right. If you don't have a gun 48 hours before hunting and you haven't thought of it and planned that far ahead, I don't think you should go hunting. I don't think you should have a gun.
Right. You're not in a good
place. At least not at this point.
So those are the things that Evers. Now look, even if you're again all those things that we say back home, if you're again them, then the argument from my former party has been, well, it's all about mental health. It's not the guns, it's mental health. Well, no worries, folks. Governor Evers has got you covered. He introduced a plan to put millions of dollars into mental health, particularly for young kids, to help them out. $300 million for school mental health. And the Republicans in the chamber did not clap. So if you don't want reasonable gun reform, and you're also not for mental health reform, where does that leave you? I mean, to paraphrase Senator Andre Jacques' brother, to clean it up for radio, if you can't be it for kids, then what the heck can you be for? I mean, jeepers, criminy. Anyway, we're going to get more into this, but L.A. Tom has been very, very patient. We appreciate it, L.A. I know you've got a lot of things to do out there. I always appreciate your views and contributions. What did you want to say about Governor Evers' State of the State last night? Go ahead.
Well, I thought Governor Evers was perfect. One, he is not a threatening type individual. He is not someone that can be called a left-wing person because he's very, very calm. I thought he was perfect in terms of starting out the speech, talking about the largest tax cuts for the middle class that has been done, because we knew that the Republicans' only solution was going to be a tax cut. They say for working people, BS. It's for Widow Hendricks. It's the Widow Hendricks tax, I would call it, and the U-line tax, I would call it. And I thought he buffered that right away, and then he went into some of the different things. And what I thought was funny was Voss said, oh, it was the same tired speech that we've heard for 7 years. Well, I'm sorry, the Republicans have had the same tired policy for the last 50 years. But one thing I was really, really quite astounded by, actually, and I don't know who she is or anything like that, but what her, if she's a reporter or what. If she's a reporter, she should not be civic media, because civic media is about truth and facts. Was this Lisa Hale, who used a Republican right-wing talking point, saying that it was a Democrat first off.
Well,
The word is democratic,
I get your point.
Democrat talking point.
Yeah, I get your point, Tom. I respect your point, but I know, Lisa, I can rest assured I do not believe there's any political directive intent in there. I'm certainly not a perfect reporter on air. Sometimes I don't always get my words right, but I respect your point. But I can rest assured it was nothing intentional. So I'll simply let's.
Well, could you maybe inform her that's the Democratic Party?
We'll be happy to. Yep, we'll be happy to do that. Yeah, appreciate it. Again. I get it, but yeah, I can assure you there's no political agenda involved. So, but I appreciate it. But I appreciate your comments, and yes, I thought it was well laid out last night. And anything else you wanted to add quickly? All right, very good. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Every phone line is full. Stand by, as Matt Flynn says. We will take you in order received. Do not hang up. Cindy in Appleton, listening on WISS. You're next. Cindy, what say you?
Well, first of all, the only values the Republicans have, the only thing they value is power and money. And they don't give a damn about the red flag laws, because 99% of the people that are shot by laws that would protect them, the red flag laws, are women. And we know they just have so much concern in regard for women.
Mm. Right. No, I get that. Appreciate the call. Thank you so much, Cindy. 855-752-4842. Let's go quickly to Keith in Broadhead. Keith, thanks for calling. We'll see you.
Hey, how you doing, man? It's been a long while.
It has been.
So, you're too reasonable there, buddy. Too reasonable. And I'm also a bird hunter. I'm also a bird hunter. I've got several guns that I use to hunt birds. I've got friends who target shoot with pistols. I have no issue whatsoever with that stuff. The people who are so opposed to it have no reasonable, in my opinion, no reasonable reason to be against it. They're just hyper sensitive to the Second Amendment, which is kind of silly. But I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I got a really good question. This is important. My wife and I were talking about this the other day. I'll be 60 coming up pretty quick here. I'm on the downward track here toward getting ready to retire, right?
Right.
Unfortunately, due to we bought a restaurant, which never buy a restaurant. I lost everything I had as far as retirement because of the restaurant during COVID.
Yep.
So I'm going to be relying a good bit on Social Security. If Trump decides to either cut or damage Social Security in some way, is there any recourse as a citizen to get together and file a class action lawsuit based on we have all the records of all the money we have paid in Social Security for the last 45 plus years of my working? Would I have any recourse with a group of people to file a suit on that? What do you think?
It's a great question, Keith. I really appreciate the call and the question. First of all, I'll preface it by saying, look, I'm no Matt Flynn or Maggie Dawn. I'm not an attorney or Jim Santel, a practicing attorney. So don't take my word to the bank as certainly legal advice. I did work for a short time for a law firm in a non-technical legal capacity. As my old boss, Sam Gold, liked to say, look, you could sue anybody. It's just a matter of, can you win? People always say, well, could I sue for that? Well, sure, anybody can sue for anything. I don't think, again, without being a full-bird attorney, I don't think that it's without merit. It comes down to if you present it, if it's a class action, do you have standing in whatever court you file in, and then kind of the luck of the draw on the judge or whatever. But it'd be a great question for Maggie Dawn, Jim Santel, or Matt Flynn. Speaking of great people of Civic Media, understand our colleague, our friend Jane Matner is standing by. She's going to weigh in, not going to want to miss that. We might also sneak in a what's worse question to her as well. Your phone calls, we see you on the line. Jack and Joe, do not go anywhere. It's Jane, Jack, and Joe, the three J's after this on Civic Media.
Real news and great conversation. 92.7 WMDX.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly.
LA Tom on YouTube says, thanks for respecting my point of view.
Now there's
of course. I get
something you can
it, Tom. I get it. But again, I said what I said because I know her somewhat personally. We worked together. There was no agenda. I think it was just a slip of the tongue.
Yeah, that's how it appears to me as well.
Is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection
Yeah.
or active swelling
Yep.
in or
I don't know
around
why
your
I
eye.
spaced for a
Izervay
second
causes
there.
eye
But yeah, I
infections,
saw.
Summers need sugar.
or increased risk
I
of
did
wet
suddenly
AMD.
get really
Izervay
hungry,
may
so that's
temporarily
probably
increase eye
it.
pressure. Your vision may be impaired after
Got
an
another
eye
call. I'm gonna
infection or
check.
exam.
Yeah,
All right.
Tom had commented about it on the stream yesterday. Obviously, I couldn't put the comments up to address it because it was more newsy. but
Right.
So I'm glad that we got to
Yeah,
talk about it
glad-
today.
glad we talked about it today.
Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
This is Chad Spate. Sometimes I'm overwhelmed by the hatred and misinformation that consumes our world, but I also know that we cannot build a house of justice and inclusion on a foundation of hatred and lies. We have to practice what we preach. At Chad's Design Build, we confront injustice the same way we confront a poorly built home, with love, compassion, intelligence, and persistence. We engage our community the way we engage our clients, with honesty and humility and the dogged determination that we can do better. Chad's Design Build, remodeling done well with love.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it.
Pursuing truth wherever it may lead and having fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. It is 21 past the hour of 1 o'clock on this Thursday, January 23, 2025. Zommers on the board. Glad to have you along. Stand by, as Paul Harvey, to paraphrase him, once said, for what's worse. we have it coming. Don't worry, but we have to eat our meal before we have dessert, so to speak. Although my grandma Allbaugh used to say, life's short, eat dessert first. But no, we have to get to, it's a big issue last night. Governor Evers' State of the State address, lots in it, lots to talk about. We see you on the line, Jack, Joe, now Ted. But first of all, I want to go to our colleague, our friend. She hosts Matnair on Air every day directly before us. Great program, 10 until noon. Jane Matnair. Jane, thanks for calling in. What do you have for us today?
Good morning, good morning, Todd. Or good afternoon, Todd, rather. Listening to your conversation after Governor Evers' speech last night, and especially about the gun safety measures, all I could think about this morning, and even during our show, because we talked about it as well, considering the Abundant Life school shooting was last month, we had another school shooting yesterday in Tennessee, and with the Republicans' reactions to Governor Evers' speech and his suggestions for more gun safety measures, all I can take away from this is that the Republicans' definition of freedom means that Americans are free to get shot and killed wherever we go. School, church, grocery store, that's where we're free. We're free to go out and just get shot and killed.
Yeah, I think it's, I respect your opinion. I don't know I can't speak for everybody in my former party. I think that it's more, again, of this influence from top down, whether it's from Trump world, whether it's from the NRA, that elected officials are too afraid of their base. And that's why I think that, now that we have fairer maps, and certainly in the next election, it's going to be tougher for Republicans to hold on to the assembly for sure, and maybe the state Senate as well. I think that my former party elected officials in my former party are too afraid of the political ramifications if they do anything reasonable. I bet you, although I haven't walked up the block and tried to do it, I bet you if you took those folks in the back assembly parlor and asked them off the record, I bet you that at least half of them, or at least a quarter of them, would say, yeah, the stuff that Evers is saying isn't that crazy, but I can't do that. I think it's a lack of courage, Jane.
Oh, it's a lack of a spine. There's no question. And I also believe, like some of your callers have said, most reasonable gun owners do not have a problem with these measures.
Mm-hmm.
These are not these are not over the top things that the governor wants to do or gun safety experts would like to see implemented. These are not extreme. And so I think they're more concerned about their donations from the NRA, and that's who they are serving now. They do not serve the American people.
Yeah. No, I get it. Well, I appreciate the discussion on your show this morning. I thought you and Greg and Pat did a great job on it. And, always a pleasure to have you call into our show. And it's great to have you lead in for us. We got to do this. We got to do more often on the road stuff. We can't make it just every June to Amory.
I agree with you. We can, anytime you want to hit the road, my friend, I am with you.
All right. Thank you, Jane.
By the way, Todd, crunchy peanut butter is better. That's just the end of the discussion.
Wow, very strong opinions from Jane today. I love it. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. Listen to Jane every day from 10 until noon in Civic Media. Let's go to Jack, I believe was next. Jack in Merrimack. Always love it when I get to say Jack from Merrimack because it rhymes. Jack, what say you?
Thanks, Todd. The rebuttal from Voss to Evers' speech is just the arrogance of our continued to be gerrymandered in Republicans just is amazing. They have learned nothing from the last election when they lost, a good portion of their majority. They must be hoping that they're going to get the Supreme Court back and steal back their gerrymandering. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of, because if they continue to do this, the only people that are going to vote for them are those who are tribalistically Republicans or MAGAs and don't believe in anything else and don't believe anything else. And that is not a majority of Wisconsinites. It's not even a majority nationally. How you can continue to basically say to the governor, anything you want to do, we're against it, no matter if it helps people, no matter if it keeps people safer, it just totally amazes me. These guys are just so far out, it's unbelievable.
I appreciate
Anyway, that's the end of my rant.
No, I always appreciate the call, Jack. I think you're right. And to your point, James, a little bit, I think the proof is going to be in the pudding in now under 2 years when Wisconsin voters go back to the polls and in these more competitive legislative districts, what's going to attract voters? Is it the strict party line stance that Republicans seemed to take last night? Or is it going to be someone who wants to reach towards the middle? Tony off of YouTube says, for a party full of tough guys, sure seems to be a lot of guys who are scared to govern. There you go. Appreciate that. 855-752-4842. Let's go to Joe in Madison. Joe, about a minute and a half. If you have to, we'll bring it back after the break. But thanks for holding. What say you?
Real brief, I just wanted to add to the discussion. There was a series that was run in Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel within the last year that was looking at gun violence, and it looked across the state. And I just remember one of the stats that was so startling to me and so appalling. They were looking at the issue of gun violence, and they included in that suicide. So then they looked at county by county, per capita, what counties had the highest rates of gun violence. It was astounding. One would think Milwaukee County. 7 counties before Milwaukee County, gun violence per capita up in the north. So it was Pine. It was, near Forest County, those counties. I'm sorry, I can't remember them all. You can look up the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel article. And what was astounding to me was that was looking at the issue of mental health and people who are isolated. Hunting is big up there. Guns are very accessible for people. And it's heartbreaking to think that there are young men and women, because it was mainly young people who were affected by this, just caught up in to lose their lives to suicide, not just to gun violence, and by a gang violence, but to suicide was absolutely heartbreaking. So check it out, people. It was a sobering.
Joe, as our friend Matt Flynn likes to say, you always nail it, and you do. I want to come back and talk about this, what Joe just said. Mental health and guns and rural communities in Wisconsin. Very important. Don't go anywhere. It's the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Since real news and great conversation, 92.7 WMDX. Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. Lawmakers have introduced a bill that would change Wisconsin election law to allow candidates to get off the ballot. You'll remember last year, Robert F. Kennedy dropped out of the race and supported Donald Trump. After that, he asked to get his name removed from Wisconsin ballots. He didn't want his supporters still having the option of voting for him. He wanted that support to go to Trump. But the Wisconsin Elections Commission said no. They said, according to the law, the only way we can drop your name is if you died. Kennedy even filed a lawsuit, and Wisconsin courts agreed. Well, now Republicans in the state legislature have introduced a new bill that would allow people to be removed from the ballot if they provide a sworn statement to the commission and pay a fee. They'd have to file the paperwork by mid-June to get their name removed for an August primary, and by the end of August to get off the ballot for a November election. And a DEI vice chancellor at UW-Madison has stepped down to a demotion after a financial review. LeVar Charleston was the vice chancellor of the Division of Diversity, Equity, and Educational Achievement. University officials released a statement saying he'd be going back to being a clinical professor after a review of financial concerns. They didn't specify what those concerns were, but this comes after diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts were majorly targeted by the legislature last year, prompting the review. And a Madison chef has been nominated as the best in the Midwest. The James Beard Award nominees have been released. Now, this is basically the biggest honor in food. Jamie and Chucky Brown Sukasumi have been nominated for Best Midwest Chef. They own a Han on Willie Street. It first opened in the Burr Oak, but it moved to that spot on Willie Street in 2023. It, of course, has gotten rave reviews since it opened. Last year, Jamie made the list in the Emerging Chef category. Finalists will be announced on April 2nd, and then the James Beard Award winners will be announced June 16th in Chicago. Congrats to them. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. You're listening to 92.7 WMDX News.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Netflix is raising its rates again by $2.50 a month, regardless of plan. This comes despite the streamer adding 18 million new subscribers in the fourth quarter of 2024. Why would they raise their rates while adding so many subscribers? You'll love this. Netflix says they have to raise their rates to make more content. Yes, they think we aren't very bright. I would have thought they were using that extra money to fix buffering issues from celebrity boxing matches and NFL games. Suits is proving to be one of the most bingeable shows on TV. It now has a popular spin-off called Suits LA. Clever. The show has just announced a slew of guest stars who will appear during the first season, which includes stand-up comedian Patton Oswalt, Fear the Walking Dead's Maggie Grace, and Brian Baumgartner, who played Kevin on The Office. Suits LA premieres February 23rd on USA. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
We are going to put a little pause into that warm-up that started yesterday. Mostly sunny today. We'll get to about 16 for a high this afternoon. The wind northwest at 5 to 15 will keep that wind chill hovering around zero most of the day. Tonight, 1 below. Tomorrow, increasing clouds 21. We're back to 34 by Saturday. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Right now, it's 14.
Nightlight with Pete Schwaba.
Tom on YouTube says, I wish the people could just vote on policy instead of party. That would be really nice.
Risk of injuries and everything.
Give me a dome anytime. I don't want to see elite athletes running on snow like it's me playing out there and tripping and slipping. I want to watch those guys run. I want the receivers to run and catch their passes. I want to see great athletes being great athletes.
Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. Weeknights from 6 till 8 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the Civic Media app.
Ever tried balancing a dozen eggs in one hand while hopping on one foot? Or maybe juggling cats while riding the unicycle? Sounds ridiculous,
Are they
right?
the same cats that were in my
Guess
hood?
what? That's exactly what texting while driving is like. Your human brain only has the capacity to focus on one thing at a time. So when you're behind the wheel, give driving your undivided attention.
Don't drive distracted.
30 seconds.
A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
fun doing it. Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. 34 now past the hour of 1 o'clock. Keep her between the lines, as my old professor at UW-Platteville, Jack O'Neill, used to say. Sometimes we get done like if it was a Tuesday, Thursday class or a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever the last class of the week is, Jack would end class. And he'd say, keep her between the lines this weekend.
Important advice.
Good advice. You don't want to be going off the road. 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842, or you can text us on the Civic Media app to join in the fun. We are going to get to what's worse in just a minute, but I want to finish up this discussion on Governor Evers' State of the State last night. Ted, listening on WISS on Appleton or WGBW on Green Bay. You're right in the middle there, Ted, in Appleton, the beautiful town of Appleton, which I lived in for one summer while my parents were getting a divorce. But still, I have plenty. We lived over, I guess, off of Campus Drive. You kind of went north, and there was like a little subdivision. We lived in a duplex right by the railroad tracks. So, like as a young kid, that was exciting that the train would come by, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it with the two radio stations, it kind of sucked because it's in the area where sometimes the Green Bay station starts fading out, and you can't get the Oshkosh station. And one or two of the stations got to increase their power, so
we'll work on
get
that.
your radio station better.
We'll work on that.
I think we are working on that.
Yeah, I appreciate the feedback, but then see but I get it. But then you could always listen to us on the Civic Media app.
Well, I'm not an app person on my phone. I work at the airport at night plowing snow.
And by the way, the Appleton Airport, for those of you who don't know, if you're looking for a deal on flights, I learned this from my stepbrother who flies in from Portland, Oregon. You can sometimes fly cheaper out of Appleton than you can Green Bay, Madison, or Milwaukee.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, it's frustrating because, I can't listen to you guys very good because it's in and out, and it's just, then I have to listen to the idiot from Green Bay.
Not in our network, another guy.
you know who.
Yeah, I appreciate you pulling pulling the signal in. What did you want to say about the state of the state last night, Ted?
That's why.
Yeah. See, it's like Tommy Thompson used to say in Wisconsin, you could call and get a wrong number and still talk for half an hour.
Exactly, and that's part of I missed it. I'm not a Tommy fan because of what he did to the budget and how he screwed us over, but he did work with both sides.
Right.
I do miss that. That part I do miss.
Yep.
But who were the two stone-faced so-and-sos next to Voss?
One, the woman, I believe she had a red dress on. That's Mary. I can never say her last name. Falls-Wiki or something like that. She is the new Senate president. And then on the other side, and I should know the name, and I don't. It would have been the Speaker pro tem of the Assembly. So during the State of the State address, you have the governor, whoever that is, at the dais speaking, and then right behind them is the speaker. So you had a Robin Voss. And then, as we were looking at it on television, to his right was the Senate president, and to his left was the Assembly Speaker pro tem,
Kevin Peterson.
Thank you.
What happened to Kevin?
My sister
Peterson.
My sister asked the same thing last night. She goes, "Who's the dude sitting up there with Voss?"
Yeah, I went to school. I hate to admit this, but I was a classmate of Kevin Peterson.
Were you really? Now, all right. So give us the tea. Spill the tea, Ted. What's up with Kevin Peterson? This could be a brand new segment. What's up with Representative Kevin Peterson? All right, spill the tea, Ted.
He's been since he had that big fight with Bartle and the Wapaka idiots, Republican. He's been so quiet, and I haven't heard. I've got friends who are friends with him yet, and they haven't said nothing about him.
Mhm.
and I haven't seen hide or hair of him. Haven't seen anything about him, and all I know is he's exceptionally book smart, but common sense stupid.
A couple of
book
bricks
smart.
short of a load.
Yeah, he is exceptional, smart, book wise.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he was on a nuclear submarine, because he was one of those kind of people. But
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's
I get
useless.
it. I get it. Well, I think that's what a lot of people just watching the thing were like, why can't these Republicans behind Evers, why can't they just be cordial at least, and at least clap for things like $35 insulin cap, or kids, or clean water? That seems like something that everybody could get along with.
And that's going to affect me now, because I am a diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on insulin.
Yeah.
And now with the reversal, I don't know how much it's going to go up.
Yeah.
That's what scares me.
Ted.
But
hang
could
on.
at least acknowledge him.
Yeah. Hang on to your snowplow, Ted. We have exciting news.
Oh, I will.
Conrad, Conrad, one of our great producers at WGBW, tells us that we have a brand new signal now that transmits. I don't know if it's the Green Bay station or the Oshkosh station, but it transmits the network, and it's in Appleton, Wisconsin, and you can find it. Thank you, Ted, for this call, because between you and Conrad, I have learned something new today. We have an Appleton signal. The on your dial 96.5. 96.5. Try that out. 96.5, and you might be able to get as clear as a bell right there in the hometown of Harry Houdini.
I will let you know. I will try that.
Please do. Do it. Report back.
And if it doesn't work, I will call you and chew your you-know-what out.
Please do. I'm the middleman in this deal. I'm getting the word from Conrad, who's a fine gentleman, but maybe Conrad's yanking my chain. I don't know. But 96.5, give it a try, and report back tomorrow.
I will do that, sir.
All right. Well, look, Ted. By the way, Ted, you get the award for best call of the day. Best call of the day. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, this is only my second or third time calling.
We'll call more.
I just heard about you guys this fall in November, and it's like, where the hell have you guys been all these times? I mean,
well, we've been here for a couple of years.
I had to listen to that idiot Joel out of Green Bay just to see what the hell's going on,
Well, now you got an idiot named Todd. You can listen to me.
He completely blocked me. He won't let me call in anymore.
I will never block you. I'll never block you, Ted. Thank you, Ted. Thanks for all you do. Keeping our planes going up there at the Appleton Airport. We appreciate you, my friend. You're doing the hard work, the working people of Wisconsin. All right. Thank you, Ted.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Have a great day. How about that, Zummers?
That was great.
Now, that's what we're looking for right there. That's what we're looking for. That's fantastic. And
we learned something.
also thanks to Conrad.
Yes, thank you, Conrad.
96.5. Is this true?
Yeah, I thought we had an Appleton signal, but I wasn't 100% certain what it was. There's just so much changing and adding.
We had a 6-hour meeting in Racine last week, and this never came up. A 6-hour meeting, and they never told us, oh, and by the way, you also could be heard in Appleton now.
I don't know how recent it is. I'm not sure.
Maybe it just happened today. Brand new. See, listen to the show, and you never know when new music and new information may come your way. That was the best call of the day. I feel like I wish we could just end the program right now.
Well, we can't.
We'll have dead air for the next 20 minutes. No, we can't end now because Zommers, here it is, 44 past the hour. Time once again for What's Worse. Let's go.
This or that, this or that. Then, of course, the choice is yours. You can get with this or you can get with that. You can get with this or you can get with that. You can get with
Time once again for What's Worse. No prize money to give away, no prizes, just your chance to be heard across the state of Wisconsin on What's Worse. By the way, I better correct myself on air. Maybe they sent a memo because
that's possible.
Luke Mathers asked me about something else today, and he goes, "Well, didn't you read that in the email?" Like, I saw it, I just didn't open it up.
So maybe it's your fault.
I don't have, you understand, I don't have time to read everything. And so I put the focus on the listeners of the show. So if it was sent out in memo or chat form, believe me, we have a chat for everything. And
there are a lot of chats.
If it was sent out in a chat or a memo that I stand, then it's my fault. But thank God Conrad's listening.
Yes, thank you.
And a great, he and Pete Schwaba have the great show up in WGBW, based out of there, but can be heard across the network every night from 6 until 8. Nightlight with Pete Schwaba and Conrad, who I listened to their New Year's Eve or New Year's Day show. And Conrad inspired me because I need to lose a little bit of weight this year. I've gotten lazy, and that's Conrad's one of his goals. So I thought, well, geez, if one of my civic media colleagues can say this on the air and do it, then I need to get my butt in gear so I lose more butt. So thank you, Conrad. Appreciate that. All right, time once again for What's Worse. Very simple. Get right to it. What's worse? Natural, quote unquote, peanut butter or Skippy? Natural peanut butter or Skippy? 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842, or you can text us on the Civic Media app, unless you're Ted, who's not an app person. But look, I get that. But the Civic Media one's so darn simple, even Todd can do it. You just go to your app store, you open it up, there'll be a search bar, you type Civic Media, CIVIC Media. You click on the little CM logo that comes up. It takes less than a minute. It's free. It's what Gail King at CBS calls a deal. The Civic Media app. Text us, call us. What's worse, natural peanut butter or Skippy? 855-752-4842. Greg, listening in Waukesha on WAUK. Greg, what's worse, Skippy or natural peanut butter?
Todd, I feel like natural peanut butter is worse, and here's why. Natural peanut butter, you have that layer of whatever. I'm going to call it layer of peanut butter blob on top. And I, as a blind guy, was like, what the heck is this?
Right?
I didn't know what, the heck that was. And it's like, what am I touching? That happens a lot with me, by the way. I'm just touching this blob of whatever, and I don't know what it is. But anyway, so be careful if the lights are out and you're reaching your hand into.
I could not agree with you more. Usually I try to wait to give people my opinion. I'm 100% with you. Because look, I'm not a blind guy, but it makes it I'm sure it's even worse because you don't know what it is. But right. I get it. It's supposed to be better for you, quote unquote, but it's just, it separates. And so you got to stir it up. It's an extra step, and I don't have time for it. So give me the hydrogenated oils and Skippy or whatever. Actually, if you want to know the truth, my former boss used to say, I always want to know the truth. If you want to know the truth, I'm a Jif person. Choosy moms choose Jif. But if I had to choose, I'd say natural's worse. Go ahead.
Todd, really quick. My sister, we once, this was back when I was young. I hope she's not listening right now. But we once tried chunky peanut butter for the first time. And my sister, who was 4 or 5 at the time, said, Grandma, why are there stones in my peanut butter? She's not chunky peanut butter, had stones in it. Anyway,
great.
Stop the blob, Todd.
Thanks, Greg.
Kind of
Always
butter.
appreciate your listenership, my friend. Greg in Waukesha, 855-752-4842. What's worse, Skippy or natural peanut butter? More of your calls after this, as well as text. Jeff Perry says Skippy is worse. And coincidentally, my nickname in college was Skippy. Back after this on the Civic Media Radio Network.
news and great conversation. 92.7 WMDX.
Something about specifically the brand Skippy just tastes off to me.
Really?
I don't know what it is.
That's why I'm a Jif guy.
With over 20
Yeah,
years of
if I'm
meticulous
picking
cleaning
one that's,
experience, they make your home sparkle without
quote unquote
hassle.
more
Call
processed
920-932-0000
peanut butter, I'm going with Jif.
today. Why wait?
Hey, it's me time at Chula Vista. Time for you to pamper yourself. Wisconsin's most complete resort experience has everything you want. Fine-tuned for 70 years by 4 generations of the Kaminsky family, Chula Vista can be easygoing.
This one
with
is from
colorful
Casper.
scenic river walks, 18 holes of classic golf,
Uh,
a relaxing spa, or
National
you can
Risk
go
if you-
all out in 80,000
It's
square
pretty
feet of
funny.
indoor water park. Zip lining,
Casper said
camping,
natural peanut butter is
and
gross. Give me the
Chula's
sugar.
area
I agree with you,
adventure
Casper,
park.
100%.
And dining comes any way you like it, from pizza to Wisconsin.
I grew up with natural peanut butter.
Did you really?
Yeah, so
I thought you were allergic to peanuts.
I'm not. That's one of the few nuts I'm not allergic to. It's weird.
Chula Vista.
We've again learned something new today on the
All
show.
Right here on site. Check it out at chulavistaresort.com.
And boy, am I glad I'm not
Miles and
allergic to
miles
peanuts
of
because
fresh
they're
green
everywhere.
Cross-country and hiking trails. Ski, sled, snowshoe. Warm up at our indoor water park. ChulaVistaResort.com.
Have you been to Sugar River Pizza in Sun Prairie
Oh,
yet?
yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I know. I love the pizza.
Pizza is ridiculous. That crust.
Right, and they have
48 beers on tap and a great selection of wines.
And the atmosphere,
Not only is the restaurant gorgeous,
that room with the
giant windows that
windows,
open, and they won a Best of Madison Gold Award this year.
I love Sugar River
Pizza on Cabela Drive in Sun Prairie.
You took the words right out of my
mouth.
Yep, Sugar River Pizza.
Chocolate.
Peanut butter.
Hey!
Oh, hey, you got your chocolate and my peanut butter.
Peanut butter on my chocolate.
What?
Delicious.
Two great tastes that taste great together. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Real milk chocolate, delicious peanut butter.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
And Reese's Crunchy Peanut Butter Cups topped with chopped peanuts.
No. Welcome back to the show. It is 8 minutes before the hour of 2 o'clock on the top of the hour. CBS and ABC News, depending upon which station you're listening to, followed by the Maggie Dawn Show every afternoon from 2 until 4. Dom Salvia, 4 until 6. And then Conrad, the knower of all stations. And thank God he does. And Pete Schwaba with Nightlight from 6 until 8. And then our friend Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio in after Rick Smith Across America. Robert was on Jay Matt Nair's show. Great interview today with Robert Pilot. He has a great show. Listen to it every night here, Native Roots Radio on Civic Media. Right now, ending the show with the important question, what's worse, natural peanut butter, and CP, who writes these, put natural in quotes. I'm not sure what that means, but natural.
Well, I think it depends on the brand. Some brands just say they're natural because they can sell better. Like,
Right.
You have to actually, look at the label and read
Right,
it.
right.
So I see why he says that.
Okay. Natural peanut butter or Skippy? Skippy.
I am going to have to go with LA Tom. He says, I love natural better. And I agree. Okay, I totally get why people don't. It is a pain in the butt to stir in the oil and everything.
Right.
To me, it's worth it. I just like the texture better. And also Skippy, specifically that brand, just tastes off to me. I don't know what it is.
Well, that's why I'm a Jif guy.
Right, Jif is better.
And all right, we learned this in the break for people who don't watch YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. You made it very well known on the show that you are allergic to nuts, and I thought that included peanuts. And then you're saying, "Oh, I love peanut butter." I'm like, "Are you trying to kill yourself or what?"
No, I am not allergic to peanuts. It's weird.
You're not. I did not know this.
I have a strange set of nut allergies. I don't really understand it. I'm allergic to tree nuts, but not almonds. Almonds are tree nuts.
I thought you had a slip of the tongue there. That was pretty funny. But anyway.
Not quite.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you're not allergic to peanuts. And so what's worse, natural peanut butter or Skippy? What's worse? 855-752-4842, 855-752-4842. Steady Eddie Listening on the app, I believe, says Todd, aka Skippy, eat natural peanut butter if you care about your health. Skip the Skippy. Skippy is out to kill you. That seems extreme. I suggested organic peanut butter. Peanuts are usually grown using lots of herbicides. Oh, I did not know that. Andrew in Maine says, today I learned that Mr. Zommers is allergic to a lot of nuts, but not peanuts, almonds, or Allbaughs. Should have pre-read that one. Len in Madison says, from the cost aspect, natural peanut butter is worse. From the health aspect, Skippy is worse. Compare the numbers of ingredients on the labels. Well, I'll give you that. And listening on beautiful, actually, she's in Chippewa Falls. She must be on the app for AUK, but you can listen to us locally in Chippewa Falls on WCFW, The Tap. And says, this is the thing people need to check for rancid oil. You can buy natural peanut butter that's good. I recommend Justin's peanut butter. What's worse is consuming something that tastes good that will give you a heart attack, or eat peanut butter that has good oils. You can find good oils in peanut butter. You just need to find a good one. Well, she's probably right about that.
I also like crunchy peanut butter. And natural crunchy is, like, if you like crunchy peanut butter, I feel like natural crunchy is just better, in my opinion.
Probably that'll give you.
If you like crunchy.
I don't like the crunchy stuff.
Again, I respect
it. It gets
that.
in my teeth, the top of my mouth, and it's just, I like a good smooth peanut butter. Here you go. My compadre, as we say in Spanish, the father of my godsons, the biological father of my god. But we said yesterday, my youngest godson, Jason, turned 25 yesterday. So here's Jason's dad saying, he's a scientist, you understand? Kurt, he's a criminal justice major and a chemist. So this guy knows what he's doing. He says, a peanut is not a nut, you nut.
It is true. It's a legume.
He didn't call me a nut, but I added that. Don't you remember the controversy with his mother-in-law? It's a legume.
Yep.
There you go. Peanuts, despite their name, are not nuts. They are classified as legumes, which means they are part of the same family as beans, lentils, and peas. There you go. You see why I hang around with that guy? Because he keeps me in line. Here's news you could use. Think about this. We've got, and as Craig Ferguson used to say in the Late Late Show, Mr. Zommers, what have we learned today? We've learned a lot.
We've learned that the Appleton signal is
96.5.
96.5.
We learned that we have a brand new station out there that we did. It's like getting the test results back from a 23andMe. Oh my God, I have a brother. So we have a new station out there, 96.5. We learned that. What else?
You learned that I'm not allergic to peanuts.
We learned that Zommers is not allergic to peanuts.
And that they're not nuts.
That they're legumes. Think about that. I mean, not too many places you can tune in to learn all that. And have fun doing it, for goodness sake. You know, that's fantastic. So there you go. Zommers says that Skippy is worse. I say that natural peanut butter is worse. But I really am a Jif guy.
And I think from the text, it was actually split pretty evenly.
It was. Yeah, it was split evenly. All right, great show today. Had a lot of fun. Tomorrow, the Lieutenant Governor, Sarah Rodriguez, will be on the show. We'll ask her about peanut butter. No, probably not. But we'll also have Brady Ewing talking a little sports. And we've got Peter Rapine from EPOM's World on Week in Review. It's going to be a great show. We hope you're along for it. Thanks for listening. Whatever you're fighting for, whatever you believe in, do not give up. Keep banging your drum. Maggie Dawn is next. See you tomorrow.
Banging on your drum, keep banging on, and your day will come. Keep banging on your drum, and they will hear you.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Fun show. We'll see you back here tomorrow, God willing. Adios.
Adios.